fringe show, but you've been around the Adelaide comedy scene since 2004.
That's right.
Why Adelaide? Like what was your first life? The first time that you came to Adelaide, why did you come to Adelaide?
First time I came here, I was invited by Mary Tobin to do Best of the Best, which is on this year at the Garden. Always a great show. And I met my future wife, so that's why I keep coming back. It's because I've now got in-laws here. Family.
What do you think of Adelaide as a city?
People don't believe me when I say that I like it, but bear in mind I come from London. So for me, I find the place quite relaxing, and outside of Fringe, I don't remember queuing up for anything ever, or being jostled or bustled or just feeling a little bit claustrophobic. I think it's nice wide open roads with no traffic on them. It takes you 8 hours to get to Melbourne in a car. It takes you 8 hours to get to Manchester in a car in Britain, and it's a third of the distance. So for me, it's also really nice to do a festival, because as a comedian, you're in a different city every weekend. You do a festival, you can stay in the same place for a whole month and actually get into a routine, and it feels like work rather than touring.
So, how would you, can you even compare the Adelaide Fringe to the Edinburgh?
The Adelaide Fringe is a lot smaller, but otherwise there's a lot of similarities, and we're hoping that we can stay on this sort of merry-go-round of festivals, because in a festival you get to do an hour show, you get to hang out with all your mates who are international, rather than, because if you're on your own in a hotel, and I'm not going to say these are awful towns, but if you're in Preston or Norwich or Birmingham,
they are awful towns.
They also happen to be awful towns. That's just a coincidence. But because I found doing a week in Brisbane was kind of a little bit lonely. Whereas when you're here, you've got all your friends from overseas, all your Australian comedy friends, and it feels more like summer camp.
So I had read on the net that you were dabbled in theatre at the 2006 Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah. Moon the Loon.
Moon the Loon, yes.
Keith Moon, the drummer from The Who.
And how did that go? I noticed that there hasn't been on your CV since, so was this actually something that you just kind of took a fancy to?
It was something that I got asked to do it, and it was good fun. What was great about it, it was a lunchtime show, so it kept me out of trouble. If you're drinking at 3 in the morning and you go, I'm on stage in 7 hours, you know to stop drinking, so that was useful, much as the kids show will be in Melbourne. You can't do a kids show with a hangover because they'll be screaming and shouting.
Your head will split.
Exactly.
So tell us a bit about this Melbourne Kids one.
I just happened to do a show in Edinburgh, Comedy for Kids, and the nice lady from Melbourne saw the show. I just got lucky and it went really well. She must have thought, wow, this guy has such a rapport with the youngsters. Let's get him in for all these shows. I might well be sacked after the first few shows. You've just got to say one thing wrong or just select one joke that's wildly inappropriate and off you go.
You could do the kids' shows drunk, but you couldn't do it hungover, could you?
Correct. I think that would work, because when you're drunk...
They'd love it.
Like, if you're at a dinner party and a kid walks in when you're drunk, they go, hey, come on, we understand one another.
We're on the same IQ level.
We're on the same IQ level. You're waiting for your brain cells to grow. I've just destroyed millions of mine. Let's play Jenga.
I noticed that you've done a few, your bio on warm-up acts or opening acts for the BBC seem to get you to do a few things. What's that like as an experience when you're going into the room totally cold? Is it different to doing a normal show, or is it... You've got
to go from 0 to 60 very quickly. It's all about acceleration. What's nice about it is I tend to work for really popular shows like QI, and never mind the Buzzcocks, which is like your Spicks and Specks, I've Got News for You, which is like your Good Newsweek. I'm sure you thought of them first. And the crowd are there and expectant, they want to have a good time. So once they get over the who's this, they're actually a really receptive audience. And generally, unless something goes wrong, you get paid quite well to do 5 minutes. The reason it's paid well is occasionally you don't do 5 minutes, something goes wrong, and you can be up there indefinitely, and there's just a floor manager going, and you just got to keep banging it out. And once there was a very famous newsreader, who I can't say who she or he is, but at the last minute she went, I'm a newsreader, I'm not a comedian, I can't host this show, and they had to have a really quick there and then a meeting going, no, Moira, or whatever her name is. No Moira Stewart, or you know, just any name. You can do it, and I'm just there going, hurry up and make your mind up, because I'm running out of joke.
And do you have nights where, you know, at the end of it, Stephen Fry, someone comes to you and says, Gordon, you just didn't warm them up? I mean, you left us holding a damp, you know, wet fish.
When I first started out, I might have had that a couple of times. I think I've been sacked from the show. I was once sacked from a show for being too good, which was kind of fun. There was a sitcom that was just awful, and I'm just, as the warm-up, going, hey, welcome to sitcom land. And just as a joke, I said, so, you know, it's like a proper sitcom. There's the bedroom, some saucy business there. There's the kitchen table, they'll have an argument. And then there's sort of the stairwell, the porch, the reception area. And I said, I bet you later on here there will be a delicious misunderstanding. I haven't read the script, but that's exactly what happened. So after the show, they said, well done, Gordon, that was really quite astute. You're fired. And they still paid me, which was quite good. They paid me for the whole season and said, no, we need someone a bit more mainstream. And I gladly took the money, took the time off.
Gordon Southern, many thanks.
Thank you for having us. Me? What?